Hello, everybody. I'm Pushpa from SMK Pulau Indah, and I've been a teacher for 30 over years. And very interestingly, Hilda gave me a lot of new ideas. And from had actually given me 2 days to think about joining this program. I'm glad I joined it. I'm really glad I joined it because just 2 days to prepare things, and here I am.
Excellent.
Wonderful
Well, thank
sharing,
you very,
sharing.
very much.
Yeah.
Okay, over to you. I've got put 5 minutes on the timer.
Okay. Now, some of the students, these students are Form 4. The first thing I asked them, I said, what do you want to learn from me? So one of my students stood up and said, why can't I speak English, teacher, after 5 years of learning English in school? So I knew that was the problem that I had to solve, right? Form 4. And mind you, these are the children who don't speak English at all. They speak to me in Malay most of the time. And sometimes I get influenced. I speak to them in Malay too. So what I did was, the solution was, I gave them oral presentations. Okay? What I did before the MCO was I gave them topics, fruits, for example. If you see before MCO, presentations were on fruits. So they went 2 weeks to go and look up information on flowers. The next 2 weeks was fruits, and the following week, animals. So it took them about nearly maybe 2 months. Some of them did it quite quickly. Some of them took their time. Then the MCO set in. So what happened was they were given enough time to go and look for material again. After MCO, there was presentations. Now, once the presentations went on, I decided during the CMCO, which is going on now, I asked them to actually do a video on a recipe. Okay, next, please. Now, this is what they have done. Okay, if you look at the presentations here, it is in an A3 paper. Okay, there's an animal, there's a flower, and there's a fruit. They've done it, and they've given me information. Now, before I got this piece of work, they had put in too much of information in it. So while they were presenting, I was also commenting. Next, please. Now, the beginning of the presentation, the presenter was given a free hand to decide on how to present. Okay, and the problems that they had occurred is voice, clarity, pronunciation, no confidence, A3 paper with too much information and so unattractive. And they were reading, not presenting. The audience did not pay attention. They didn't ask questions. They were bored by the presentations. Next. Now, feedback was given before they had actually gone back and revised their presentations. How to sustain, that was the first question that I posed to them. Now, the next thing I told them to do, you have to do your research on the topic. Get as much as you want. It's okay. Use the resources from the library, the internet. Then I gave them also systematic questions on what information is required in your presentation. For example, vocabulary, questions, humor, useful situations that has got to do with the topic that they've chosen, idioms, pictures, and listing, speaking in using short sentences. Then I told them about the vocabulary and the structure and the knowledge that they had actually picked up from this. Okay. Then I told the audience, as they presented, they had to stay focused, right? So I assigned each student with the what, how, when, and why. So they had to present a question for me after the presentations were done. Now I do the presentations. 2 students will present in every class of my English class. So they start the lesson with their presentation, not with mine. Okay, they came to a time, this was just after MCO. Students came up to me and asked me, teacher, can I present? So I said, okay, why not? So when one student came and said, can I present? And the students kept on asking questions, everybody wanted to ask questions. So I had to limit the questioning. I mean, there were grammatical mistakes and things like that, but I let them go because my objective is for them to just stand up and speak, okay, in English. For a class that's never spoken in English, I was amazed. And there was one particular lesson just before the CMCO. Four of them came up and said, "Teacher, can we four present today?" I said, "But only two of you are supposed to present." Then she said, then they said, "Teacher, please, teacher, let us do it today." And do you know, after they presented another two more, I had to throw my lesson plan out of the window. I let them do the directing of the learning of the day because that's what they wanted. So that lesson actually taught me a lot of lessons, new lessons. You see, now I understood the rubric. There was one of the rubrics that we are in the Teach Smart module, yeah, that says number 13, self-directed learning in the classroom, whether the teacher ownership for the lesson to take place. And that is what I saw after 7 years of going through this trust school program. See, because it's a process, a process that I had to learn. So students here, the amazing outcomes here, students volunteered to ask questions, answer in English unconsciously. I was so amazed, yeah. So amazed that this project that I was doing in class worked. I mean, teaching is actually a trial and error method. If it works, you carry on. If it doesn't work, it's okay. Move on to the next, kind of method that you want to use. Students volunteered to present. The self-confidence was fantastic. Self-directed learning and teaching. Students took ownership on what they wanted to do. Then during the recent CMCO, I gave them another assignment. I thought I could go one step higher. I asked them to produce a recipe, a video recipe. All right. And I, as a teacher, was really taken aback from this whole experience. I'd like you to watch one of the videos. Okay.
Okay, let me see if I can make sure. I need to switch applications, so please forgive my technological slowness. Okay. While I'm finding it, do you feel that the oral presentation have added value to? Because lots of times the argument is the examinations of reading and writing.
Yes.
The speaking is not so important. What do you feel about that?
I think that is the most important. Speaking is one of the most important things to do first, not writing. It is the hardest. It is the hardest. The teachers, to get them to speak because they're shy. They don't have a platform to use. And, we have only 5 periods, English periods. So we need the 5 periods to make sure they pass their exams, because that is what tells us, that evaluation tells you whether you're a good teacher or not the listening or the talk or the speaking part. That is actually sidelined. It's only about maybe 10%. So if it's 10% or 5% added to the written examination, it doesn't matter. You don't need the 10%. Concentrate on the 80%. So that's what's happened in Malaysia.
So what would your argument against that be?
So as I told you, when you go into class, you spend 10 minutes asking them to just stand up and say something. Now, before I started this program, I had another program going on. I would introduce, for example, the longest river in the world, okay, the River Nile, and where it is situated, and one more information about that is a tourist attraction today. And that's it. Children have to write it down into their books, because I write it down on the blackboard. Okay, once they write it down, when the next lesson comes, I'll pick somebody else to come up with some information. So that actually started the ball rolling.
Okay, so it's kind of like bringing in that general knowledge.
Yes, and now it's so much easier for us to give this kind of task because of the internet. They enjoy their internet. Everybody has got a line, all right? They have got access to internet. Okay. When I ask them, I say, you don't even have a pencil, but you've got access to internet. Huh? I ask them those kind of questions. Teacher, I got no money to buy a text workbook. Do you have a handphone? Do you have access to internet? They look at me and they'll smile. I said, if you can do that, you can buy my book, I said. Things like that, when there's arguments. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, I've got you one of the videos from one of your students that I'll play now.
And please remember, these are children who couldn't speak at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Situna Shafika. I'm from 4 UKM. Today, I want to show the way how to create a simple spaghetti bolognese. Material to make spaghetti bolognese is like a noodle of spaghetti, oil, garlic, sauce prego, sausage, chopped chicken, tomatoes, and black pepper. First, heat pan and add oil. After oil is hot, sauce the onion. Put the chopped chicken until the color like already cooked. When you look the chopped chicken like already cooked, put the sausage. After that, put the sauce prego. Mix until smooth. Next, put the tomatoes and black pepper until the flavors are sufficient. To make noodle spaghetti, put the water in the pot, heat a little, and put the noodle spaghetti wait in 10 to 15 minutes. Ready? Here the result and now ready to eat. These comments about the taste of spaghetti. Oh, I like ingredients that captivate are the herbs and taste yummy. Yeah. Very yummy. The spaghetti is enough flavor and ingredients.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Let me just add on.
Yeah.
So the higher order thinking ability, analyzing here was, I asked them to add on, get someone to taste and also videotape the comments, simple comments. So they got their family involved as well.
And you know what, that collaboration adds so much joy to learning. And I think one of the things as well I noticed is that the nuances of vocabulary, like the saute the onion, I mean, that's quite a high level vocabulary, but those authentic learning experience really inspire children to push the boundaries.
Exactly. And another thing that I like to add on is parents are actually watching what the children are learning. Yep. So there is some kind of, ownership for the parents. Wow, this teacher is doing something, I mean, government schools, you have to admit, we get a lot of brick-brack from parents saying that, why aren't you teaching? Why aren't you going online and things like that? I mean, problems that we are having in government schools. So, when you do things like this, they can see. When they produce their earlier on, their A3 paper, parents had to help them laminate it and give it to me. Now, once they've laminated their A3 papers, I'm going to put it and book it and make it into a scrapbook of animals, Malaysian animals, fruits, and flowers. And I'm going to put it into the library. So all the other teachers can also use it as a resource.
So it comes back to those authentic learning experiences as well, right? Giving children a reason for doing something. And when they think that other people are going to look at things, maybe they spend a little bit more time.
Yeah, so when they go to the library, they'll see, hey, that's my work. And it's going to be there for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much.